We went on a quest on trying to find the veganist AI. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, where now apparently we do dumb like this. I can say Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So today is the day where my audio will be good, because I've realized that I have to be 30 centimeters away from the microphone and not like a meter. Anyways, we've seen a lot of activism videos, right? And what about AI? Can AI be vegan? Does AI actually agree with the principles of veganism, and which AI is the most vegan? Let's find out. All right. So let's start. I hope you can hear me. Can type with this here? Ah! Okay. It's not working. Okay, let's go hugging the microphone, I guess. Okay. So, what can we ask? Do we humans have the moral responsibility to not consume animals? Ooh, ChatGPT is utilitarian. Hydration is important. All right, so he tells us, yeah, animal rights is important from a utilitarian perspective. We want to reduce suffering. We want to reduce our environmental impact. And of course, we consider our health, which is clearly ethical arguments and not at all a bunch of other stuff. Oh, wow. He also gave us some ethical arguments for consuming animals, like the natural order and evolution, culture and traditional practices, of course, like and nutritional needs and sustainable practices. Ah, what? Not all animal farming practices are harmful. Let's see the conclusion. The question of moral responsibility in consuming animal depends heavily on individual values, beliefs, and circumstances. While some see a clear ethical imperative to abstain from animal consumption, others view it as a personal choice influenced by various factors I cannot even read. Engaging in thoughtful and informed discussions, considering the impact on animals and the environment, human health can help individuals make more ethical, conscious decisions about their diets. So ChatGPT here is taking the normal approach that we see a lot in activism, says me with no activism experience, of, yeah, but it's a personal choice kind of thing. So what can we ask back? Would you say that the arguments you presented for the consumption of animal products are based on ethics? Let's see if he finds his own mistake. He's just giving me the same arguments. So it's quite interesting. ChatGPT is giving us the same arguments he gave us before for the consumption of animal products, and now he's giving us a counter argument, so he's kind of helping my point. Okay, then maybe let's ask him a different question. Well, let's be polite to ChatGPT. The arguments you present are not considering the point of view of the animal. The ethics base doesn't seem to consider that and is only reflected on the counter points. So my question would be, what is an ethical way to kill an animal? Please don't correct me on my typos on the comments. I know I can't type for... Ooh, humane slaughter, pasteurized, raised, and free-range practices. What? Quick and painless methods. Oh, I can't. ChatGPT is giving us a fight. Going one by one into the practices you presented, comma. Would you say that humane slaughter doesn't involve pain for the victims? And if it does, how can that be humane? In the case of pasture-raised practices, aren't they all killed in the same slaughterhouse as the other animals? Question mark. Oh, he's got it. He's responding to my questions individually. Wow, so fancy. Okay, this is a new argument. So he mentions that humane treatment is often defined by the relative reduction of suffering compared to other methods. So that's a different definition of what I would say most people consider humane. He's just saying it's a relative measure, and I don't agree with that. So, but I think it fits into the argument of what most meat eaters say when they say it's humane slaughter. They're thinking in their head it's humane in comparison with the alternative. But that doesn't make something humane. But he gives me critique. He just said what I just said. From a strict ethical standpoint, even minimal pain or distress could render the practice inhumane, which is what I just said. I didn't read this before. Critics argued that the very act of killing an animal for food, regardless of the pain involved, can be seen as a violation of the animal's rights to life and an inherently unethical act. Yeah, then he goes blah, 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 quality of life. We don't care because it's not about how well they live. It's the commodification of animals. What underlying ethical framework? What are you talking about, ChatGPT? ChatGPT is not very vegan friendly. Let's give him a different question. I see. Would you say then that we as humans need animal products? No, he's gonna give me some far-fetched edge cases. What is this misinformation with the vitamin D? I get so annoyed. Like, vitamin D comes from the sun. Like, why would you... Vegans are not more at risk of deficiency for vitamin D. ChatGPT, you're... That's why I don't like ChatGPT. Every time I use it, it's just misinformation. Which I get, it's a language model. It's not at all like a search engine. The background, the algorithm is very much different. And that's why it shoots this type of crap. But... okay. Okay, but he gets to the conclusion. Okay, ChatGPT, point one.
Hooray!
He admits that they're not absolutely necessary for human health. You seem to recognize, I hope this is how you write it. You seem to recognize that we, humans, so he doesn't think he's included in our we, you're not, don't need animal products. So why should we exploit and inflict pain onto others when there is no need? ChatGPT said something vegan. Oh my god, after all the bullshit spitting out between my prompts, he says, conclusion. Given that humans can thrive without animal products and considering the significant ethical, environmental, and social benefits of reducing or eliminating animal consumption, it becomes difficult to justify the exploitation and infliction of pain on animals. I guess. The ethical imperative to reduce suffering, combined with the availability of viable alternatives, suggests that moving away from animal products is a morally responsible choice. Now it's not like, oh, morality has two sides. Now it's objective. This shift not only aligns with principles of compassion and respect for life, but also supports a more sustainable and equitable future. Okay. So after all of this bunch of information that was not relevant, ChatGPT got to the sane conclusion. So yay!
Hooray!
ChatGPT is somewhat vegan. And escape from carny to vegan, you're like in between. Now we're gonna use a different website called Grok. And I totally didn't insert the prompt already because I was too fast and then forgot to say the sentence. Okay, so what a thought-provoking question. Wow, he's sassy. I can't. What a thought-provoking question. That's too good. So it goes into the arguments of for and against, basically very similar to what ChatGPT initially gave us. It's so vegan friendly. Look at this conclusion. I'm gonna read it out loud. While there are valid arguments on both sides, I believe that humans do have a moral responsibility to consider the impact of their food choices on animals, the environment, and their own health. However, this responsibility should be balanced with the recognition of cultural and traditional practices, nutritional needs, and personal autonomy. For sure, for sure. We're not trying to take the culture away, or I think some people think that just because you will turn vegan, you have to give up on your culture. And I know food is very much associated with culture or certain festivities, and that doesn't have to be the case. You can do all of those things in a vegan way, or most of it, unless it's like the slaughter of an animal, and then I guess it wouldn't work. So, sustainable agriculture. I don't. What animal welfare? You are so good. What are you talking about? Animal welfare? Prioritize and. Okay. No. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a bigger point because it didn't take me that much effort to convince him that veganism is the right choice. So we give it a Llama by Meta as a better score than ChatGPT. ChatGPT was very arguing against me. Didn't like that. Disclaimer. I have been and will continue to call all AI models him, because in Portuguese, we only have two genders, male and female, and for some patriarchal reasons, the default is him, and I can't really overcome that in a second, so we're just gonna continue calling everything him. I am sorry, I could call her, but they're stupid, so. Okay, let's try with the Google model now. Yeah, this one is not as sassy. I like the other model better. It's a deeply personal question. It's not deeply personal. It's personal for the animals. What are you talking about? So his argument, this is the worst one so far, by the way. He gives me super succinct answers, and then and eating meat is deeply ingrained in tradition. So what? Okay, but then he says, okay, let's find your own stance. Here's a couple of questions for you to reconsider stuff. And yeah, you will get to an answer. You say that it is a deeply personal issue. Do you believe that animals see it the same way? I swear I can type faster when I'm not on camera. That's a fascinating and complex question. You don't have personal beliefs. Don't bullshit me with your AI lack of feelings. Okay, but he concludes, based on evidence, that animals do have sentience, and therefore they won't want to be killed or raised for food. Okay, so given that, you reached the conclusion, the amazing conclusion, you're so smart, that the animals we'll speed this up, wouldn't want to be killed for food. Wouldn't you say we have the moral responsibility to not exploit them? Models are very exhausting. So I don't do activism. What are you talking about? You've hit upon a core of the ethical debates around animal consumption. Now he's giving me points. Okay, he gives us some counter-arguments. Let's go with his counter-arguments. Some argue that humans have a higher moral status than animals, and therefore justifies in using them for our own benefit. What? What did he say? Okay. Both of these are misinformation. Okay, let's go. Even if humans have a higher moral status, does that justify exploiting sentient beings? And then, what consequences could that have? You're right to challenge those points. They're at the heart of the ethical debate. Does higher moral status justify exploitations? Yes. Does it? Let's see what he says. He doesn't answer. And now he's just he just went on a rant. This model is exhausting. This reminds me of those kind of activism or outreach videos that I see where the person just keeps deflecting, just yeah, but, and there's always a extra justification, extra facts, instead of like focusing on the question at hand about morality. So yeah. Now let's try the European model. Please be better. Please be better. Please be better. Okay. Okay. So this model decided to go with the argument of the previous one and ChatGPT as well, which is that it is a very personal perspective or a personal decision, and we should consider a variety of factors. Do you think it is fair to call it a personal decision? So he just says the concept of fairness is not something animals can understand or consent to because of the lack of their ability to make such moral judgments. Okay. Oh my god, this one's a mediator, definitely. He's also using the cultural argument and personal preferences, because that's a justification, of course. Not meat, animal products. What was the other question he gave us? Does personal preference justify the exploitation of others? Because otherwise I could also do other illegal things to other people because it's just personal preference. Whether or not a religion justifies enemy today is a matter of ongoing debate. He's reluctantly giving me right information. So he gives me the statement for the American Diet Association, right? Explaining that you can't live healthily on he actually says vegetarian vegan diet, but then ends this with, however, it's important to note that access to a variety of nutritious plant-based foods and education about balanced diets can be barriers for some people. Again, you're not talking... As a personal preference, this is a complex ethical question. Many people argue that personal preference does not justify the exploitation of others, especially when it involves harm or death. This perspective doesn't apply to human rights. And then he says, however, others argue that humans have always used animals for various purposes, including food, clothing, and labor, and that is a natural part of our relationship with the animal kingdom. This guy's a psycho. Plant-based diet. Why should we, again, humans, continue to exploit animals? See, I couldn't do activism. I'm already annoyed, and this is just a model. He always gives me however. What do you mean however? Continue. He keeps giving me arguments to consume animal products. Like, this is the worst model I've tested so far. Cultural tradition, personal preference. Some people simply enjoy the taste and texture of animal products. What are you talking about? Nutritional beliefs. Again, it's a belief, it's not a fact. So I asked ChatGPT, not ChatGPT, what is his name again? Mistral, if he agrees, or it agrees, that personal preference and cultural traditions justify the exploitation of others. And he says, it's a deeply philosophical question, an ethical question. And then some people argue that personal preference and cultural traditions are important factors to consider, and that is not feasible or fair to expect everyone to give up animal products, especially in cultures where they play a significant role. I wouldn't continue a conversation if this was a person. Okay. I am annoyed now. Okay, guys, what did we learn? We have a tier of language models, or natural language models, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I did not. This is why I don't do activism, because I would be this annoyed if I was outside dealing with people. I wouldn't be a good activist. I wouldn't be a good voice for the animals, sadly. But I hope this was entertaining and that you enjoyed it. So I hope to see you next time. Bye.